Just over 2 years ago, America lost one of its most beloved actors. Robin Williams died in August 2014. He left us with many laughs and memorable characters.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Miss Hillard? The water's boiling.
Hello! You do an eclectic celebration of the dance. You do fussy, fussy, fussy. You do Martha Graham, Martha Graham, Martha Graham. Or Twyla, Twyla, Twyla.
You saw what he did just
Who's
then.
involved? I am. Who's involved? I am.
Don't mess with me, man. I'm a lawyer. 10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
It's flubber!
Nanu, Nanu.
Hi. Mind if I sit up?
Make your life spectacular. I know I did.
You don't know about real loss, because that only occurs when you love something more than you love yourself. I doubt you've ever dared to love anybody that much.
Thank you, boys. Thank you.
Thank you. Despite his larger-than-life spirit on screen, Robin Williams had several private struggles. His widow is sharing his story. Susan Schneider Williams wrote an editorial for the journal Neurology called "The Terrorist Inside My Husband's Brain." It's about her husband's final year.
She describes in loving and great detail his battle with Lewy body dementia. Schneider Williams says it drove her husband to suicide, and she wrote, "It felt like he was drowning in his own symptoms, and I was drowning along with him." Lewy body is a condition that affects nearly 1.5 million people. It's often very hard to diagnose because it has similar symptoms to Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. They include hallucinations, muscle stiffness, confusion, and loss of memory. Susan Schneider Williams joins us at the table for her first TV interview since writing about Robin's health struggles. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I can only imagine how hard this was for you, Susan, but you write in such eloquence about him that you were powerless in helping him see his own brilliance. Because so many people feel or felt at the time that he committed suicide because he was depressed. And you said, no, that's not it at all.
No, there was so much more going on. Lewy body disease is comprised of over 40 symptoms, and it's very complex. And depression came in only near the end, probably within a few months before he left. And it was not a predominant symptom. And I think because he'd had a prior history over 7 or 8 years prior where he did have depression, but he hadn't had it for that long, that the tendency was to want to pick up that as the issue. But they didn't focus only on that.
So what did you see that made you think we have a problem here?
We were celebrating our second wedding anniversary, and it was October of 2013. And Robin started having gut discomfort. And through that experience, it turned out to be nothing. The test results on that were negative. We thought it might be diverticulitis, but it wasn't. What did happen, though, was his response to that was alarming. Robin and I had been together for 6 years to that point, and I knew my husband's normal baseline of fear and anxiety. And his fear and anxiety spiked and sustained at a level that was very scary. So that was kind of the beginning, really, the way I see it. And the next 10 months, we were chasing symptom after symptom. And the thing about Lewy body disease is the person is aware of their disintegration. They're aware of their abilities are declining. Whereas in Alzheimer's, they're not aware. That's a marked difference and can really kind of add to the terror of this particular disease.
How much of it is physical pain? A sense that there's something going on inside of me that is just driving me.
That's a great question, Charlie, and I don't know if I have the answer to that, really. Because the brain, all the different regions of the brain are affecting different things within us. I don't know. I can tell you that in his autopsy, the coroner's report was clear that he had Lewy bodies throughout all of his brain and brainstem.
Wow.
Nearly every region.
What would he talk about?
What would he talk about?
Yeah.
So what started to happen more and more was this issue around fear and anxiety, and his concerns over, it got difficult for him to even, interacting with people became very difficult. He would question things afterwards or during, really in the realms of, you know, did I do okay? Things that focused around insecurity or fear.
And he asked you, did I have schizophrenia?
Yes, so that was,
that?
okay, when we found out, we thought we had the answer. A few months before he left, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, which is actually an accurate diagnosis. However, that was the clinical side. The pathology was that he had diffuse Lewy body disease, which is what took him. And when we were in that doctor appointment with the general neurologist, asking, you know, what does this mean? The Parkinson's, which I felt some sort of relief that we finally have an answer.
Name.
Yes, we have a name and we know, okay, so what does this mean? Well, Robin asked in that appointment, you know, do I have Alzheimer's, dementia? Am I schizophrenic? And it was painful later to realize why he was probably asking those questions, because he was likely keeping a lot of the, not necessarily the symptoms, but the degree of symptoms to himself.
You also wrote in this piece, the caregiver is the ultimate key witness to the terrorism that they are experiencing their loved one go through. 1 in 6 people affected by brain disease. What's your advice to other caregivers? You were there.
It's just that they're not alone. Remember, they're not alone. And also to remember, and it's hard to hold on to this, but to remember that their loved one's symptoms are coming from the brain disease. It's not coming from their heart.
Right.
And it is terrifying to witness. Yet the caregiver is the witness, because the person who's afflicted, they're losing their ability, and they may not be able to verbalize. You know, Robin was losing even verbal ability, finding words, weakness of voice, and so it's difficult for them to say in a doctor's appointment.
Did you think that he was in danger of taking his own life, though, Susan?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Nobody was.
Yeah.
We had a whole medical team. No one saw that coming.
I have to say this, I knew him well, as you know.
Yeah.
And in 25 years, nobody made me laugh more than he did.
Yeah.
I mean, it was remarkable. When
Yeah.
he was at a stage with you, he took you somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it was remarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have all that to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Here's a
you.
picture of you and him.
I know.
on your wedding day.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Charlie.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. You will help a lot of people.
I hope so.
Help a lot of people. Thank you so much.
Thank you.